Charles, what's going on with TCAT?
Well, the cosmetology class is full. We're ready for it to start on September the 6th. All the equipment is in. There's just a couple of things that the plumber needs to hook up. There's a little rain coming in, so we'll be certainly ready for that. All the equipment's on site. And so I'm glad about that. And like I said, start back September the 6th will be our fall trimester, so that's when we'll start. A little side note to that, the plumber that we had on call at TCAT has took another job, and so he's basically closed his company. He's out of Hamilton County, by the way. Not all, of course, our main campus is in Hamilton County. But if you guys have any suggestions about a plumber that would handle industrial plumbing, that would be willing to be on call for us, I've called everyone I know up including the one that did plumbing in my house. And they're either doing residential or don't have time or booked up or whatever. So we are without a plumber right now. I actually have a couple of things at the building that need to be fixed. So I'll just throw that out. Doesn't have anything to do with cosmetology. All that plumbing's done. But I just thought I'd throw that in there while I had a chance. Truck driver. Everybody's interested in that. We are too. We have the curriculum in hand for that class. We will probably, we are actually doing a search for an instructor, one instructor right now. We are receiving applications. That job was posted in the entities that we post in, social media, newspapers, things of that nature, I believe. I don't handle any of that, but but I know it's been done because we are receiving applications. We hope to have and this is a tentative date, let me emphasize that. We hope to have our first instructor on board by September the 1st. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to be ready to start the class then, but we need an instructor that's going to help plan, things of that nature. And we have, like I said, we do have the curriculum in hand for that. We received that from TBR. A full-fledged start date for the class has not been settled yet. We probably are looking at 2023, which is not that many months away. More than likely, the class will be everything we've looked at. Probably 222 clock hours to get up to the CDL, and then an additional 36 hours for those that are seeking hazmat endorsement as well. So that'll be the length of the class. And I have the same space that they were in years ago, cleaned out up there at the school, ready for them. So we're getting things ready to go, everything falling in place. As far as trucks, there's another individual at the Morristown campus handling that. And I talked to this person yesterday, and he said we were going to purchase trucks from the same company that the other TCAT purchased from. And as I said at the last meeting, we have been in contact with the TCAT in Knoxville, TCAT in Rogersville, looked at their curriculum, and got suggestions and things from them. And so that's how we've set things up so far, and that's where we're at. Any questions about that?
Do you know yet how much the class is going to cost?
Well, the only thing I can say right now, since, we put these hours on it, I'm thinking it's going to go along with their fee schedule. But honestly, to answer that question specifically, no, sir, I can't answer that. But I know, I'll just throw this in there. I know that we will be a better deal than about anybody around that does truck driving training. Again, because it will go along with their fee schedule. For example, a person that comes in and is a full-time welding student, their tuition is $1,336 a trimester. And that's for a lot more hours. But again, I'm not putting my finger on what it costs. But what I'm seeing, these clock hours, this makes their program just a little bit longer than some of the others around in this area. I'm here 4.5 weeks, things of that nature. Their program will probably, and again, this is an estimate. In one case, I saw 32 days. That's, of course, that's days during the week, 32 days. Also saw 7 weeks. So that stuff's not been settled yet, so, Jeff, I'm sorry I couldn't answer the question specifically
That's all right.
there, but I can't just put a figure on it.
I have
Who
one
will
more.
determine that?
The fee schedule,
Yeah.
TBR.
Is that a Tennessee Promise eligible class that?
Right now, as far as I know, anything that we offer to other students will be offered in this. Of course, as far as I know, we can't have 18-year-olds driving trucks, but they just can't go across state lines. They can stay within the state of Tennessee. I don't know if there's any other restrictions on that besides that or not. So that would include, you know, again, people coming right out of high school, I would imagine, for that. So I would imagine that it would be. Tennessee Promise eligible, Reconnect eligible, all of that.
There's one thing we're seeing is gonna be a problem, though, is getting insurance on a lot of companies, because they don't want to drive them unless really 23.
That's true.
23 or older.
That's true.
So that's gonna be a hindrance on getting the younger kids into that.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. Yep. And I don't know if we've even looked at that aspect of it. If we have, it's not been me looking at it, it's been somebody else. I'm more in charge of getting the building ready, hopefully getting the site ready. They'll have to do a little work down there. You know, all of that. And pretty much we're gonna use the same site that we used before. When we had truck driving up there back in the early 2000s, before that. Any other questions about that? So I try to be as transparent with this as I can be, and that's kind of where we're at. Also, I guess there's a question with this as well, but again, we are revisiting the gates there going down. It takes you down the little road to the river. And Mr. Jackson and I talked about that, and you know, that's something that which I had an instructor change. We had that ready to go, and then my welding instructor took a job in Washington County, Sullivan County 1. So I have a different instructor now, a lot of other stuff going on. But we have looked at that site for a gate there as you first come out of basically air parking lot and go down through there, and then also down there as it turns and starts going up the river. And of course, those measurements we took are tentative for that. And we are ready to order the metal for that, to take care of it. Of course, what we want to really do is get the posts in the ground and make sure that we have good measurements to put up a gate. Now, I assume that gate will need to be locked. And one thing that I had said to Mr. Jackson was, is it when we're in session that we want that gate unlocked? Does it need to stay locked all the time? Do I need to get permission from Hawkins County? Or is this the group that gives us permission to lock that stuff? I mean, you know, we'll leave it up and people naturally be able to walk around it. They're also probably able to ride their horses around it. But we're going to try to make it in such a way that it really hinders vehicle traffic. So I guess I'm asking this group about, is there any stipulations on it being locked?
I would imagine it would be locked all the time.
Yeah. Well, I know that probably only needs to be effective, but you know what I'm saying? I do see, now honestly, I do see, I don't even know who drives this, but the four-wheel drive Hawkins County deputy, he goes down in there every so often, and maybe a gate will keep that from happening. You know, him having to go down in there, but I guess you could walk down there and get in the shenanigans the same as you could drive down there.
I've envisioned the gate being open anytime that truck driving is going on, because I'm sure on the road training would be part of it. To have the gate open in and close it at the end of the classroom day when people are, you know, in attendance down into the, where the gravel lot was previously.
And so the one down the river is likewise?
Well, you say down by the river, but it's actually the road that goes back through over toward the pump
Well, it gets
station.
closer to the river, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. There's one down there already close to the river that stays locked.
Are you talking about the gate that's already there?
No.
No, I'm talking about right down by my school, And right now, there is it's like a wheel with a post in it sitting there, and there's a sign that says no vehicle traffic, gating that there, so they can't go down in there. And then going down, as that road turns, and gating down there as well.
There's a tile across that ditch down there.
Right, yes.
And you can gain access to the truck driving parking lot by simply coming in down near the sewer plant lift station and coming in there. And I would envision a gate being designed so that people that walked or rode a bicycle or a horse could still travel that, but no motorized vehicles could do it without the consequences of the gate. So it would remain locked almost all the time unless law enforcement or maintenance for us needed to open it. But the one at the school, I just see, yeah, possibly daylight hours, you know, when class is there, especially down there in that bottom. Kids, a lot of young people have gone down there and done donuts in the lot and all that sort of thing. And I think we had a poaching incident down there last year where somebody got prosecuted. So they're ignoring the sign. There's just a certain part of the population that's going to do what they want to do. So maybe this will slow it down.
Well, and that's what my hope is too, that it'll slow it down, because, you know, that gives them basic access to an area down there that is not very well lit, quite frankly. And, you know, that's a real good hiding place, so to speak, just to be honest. And what I hope don't happen is, and I don't give anybody any idea, so hope this don't get out, is that they don't start cutting through their yard to get around that gate. You know, so a four-wheel drive or something like that probably could do that, and it wouldn't be easy after they got on down there for a certain distance, but they could do that. So I hope the donuts don't start happening in the yard instead of down there.
I hope you don't end up having to have a fence as well.
I mean, I don't know, you can't stop it all, I know that. But I just thought I'd bring that up, especially about the lock part.
We'll work with you. We appreciate all the help, Charles, that we get from TCAT. We don't have access like you all do too. Welders and things, and any help like that, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, Patrick, he's good enough to help us with the posts and stuff like that, so they're gonna help us with that. So we'll get them in the ground, and then we're ordering the metal now, based on the tentative mark, and so it's kind of a teamwork here.
Like I say, we try to keep the property up and keep vandals and whatever out, and trespassers. We want it for the use of the public to, walk and ride horses, do whatever, but we don't need all the vehicles down through there.
Well, it wasn't uncommon for me to see a dozen vehicles or more a day, regardless of what time of day I was up there, come out of that area.
Right.
And so, I mean, you're hid once you get down there so far.
Yeah. Brandon, what's going on with Board of Education?
Well, we're looking for ways to spend money. We've got, I think I mentioned a meeting or two back with the governor's investment in career and technical education, the $500 million pot of money that was included in this past budget. TOE has gotten around to getting out some guidance documents and telling us how that's going to be divided up. Preliminarily, it looks like we're going to be receiving about $4.2 million for Hawkins County schools, and that's for high schools and middle schools that are serving more than a certain number of students and so forth. The unfortunate part of it, and it was something I was concerned about, was they did cap how much of that we could spend on capital projects. And they capped it pretty low. It's 10%. They did say there's a little bit of leeway to go above the 10% with justification, but it's pretty clear in conversation with the folks who are issuing these rules and regulations that it's going to be capped in the 10 to 30% range, somewhere in that neighborhood. So as far as a sizable investment to our central CTE facility project that we're working on, it's unfortunately we're not going to be able to tap a whole lot of this. But that's still a lot of money, and we're going to do a lot of good with it. We actually just had our first planning session this morning to kind of get started looking through the guidance and how those funds can be used and what we would potentially use them for. So just have to stay tuned on that. There's additional Spark grant funding. I think I've mentioned Spark grants in here before. That's a grant that comes through the Higher Education Commission. We've received 2 of those in the past. This will be the 3rd round of that for Hawkins County. We need another 100,000, give or take, there. So a lot of money coming in, a lot of planning that's going to have to happen in order to secure that fund. And then over the course of the next 4 or 5 years, there'll be a lot of monitoring and documentation to show how we've used it. But we anticipate that it will have a very good impact on the CTE programming in Hawkins County, so we're excited about it. The central project or central site project, we're still looking for funding. You know, we're kind of where we were last time, so we're moving forward, looking for funding there. Keep you updated on that.
Oh, good.
CTE wise, that's where we are.
Not last.
Good last before executive session. Anything?
Okay, well, a lot of what we've been doing will be covered in executive session, because we've been working very closely on it. State activity still, inquiries are still good, so if there's a recession, we're not seeing the effects of it yet. We keep recommending Phipps then. But I think the big issue that's taking up a lot of our time, not mine personally, is this regional group, you know, the Northeast Tennessee Hub, and this will be funded basically by Ballard, Eastland, ETSU, Bank of Tennessee, and I can't remember who the 5th is. You remember, Lynn? There's 5 additional.
Racetrack.
Racetrack, BMS.
Yeah.
They've got a committee, they've got their executive committee, they've hired Dennis Phillips, who you and I know very well. So we appointed a committee of networks to look at it and work with and figure out how we could do this together. I'm like, nobody's against regional effort, especially if they're gonna bring in $1 million. And so our group met this morning. And the other side of that is, it's gonna affect Hawkins County. And we don't know what the end result of all this will be. If it is there gonna be an effect on the relationship between networks and Hawkins County? I hope not, and I don't think it will. But that's, it's gonna be going on now. It's gonna take a little while to put it all together. I know you're on the advisory committee, and we'll just have to see how it goes. This is my 4th regional group I've seen. This was a little bit structured differently than all the rest of them. Of course, the famous one was the one, 2005. And
Yeah.
we said, guys, it ain't gonna work this way. And they said, we don't care. $5 million later, it was over. So but I think this would be different. And the final structure of it is, they're trying to work it out.
As Ronnie said, they asked me to serve on the advisory committee, and our interest, as Ronnie also said, is that we continue our relationship with networks. For $50,000, our contribution to networks, we get all of those services, and their budget is, for Sullivan County and Hawkins County, is $750,000. So we get a pretty good deal, and, so we just wanna make sure that our interests are covered, and so I attended a meeting with the rest of the advisors. I think everybody's interested in regionalism. It's just very difficult to set a structure up that everybody agrees with, and